Morning all. It's a bit of a messy day video today. I had a quiet weekend with my good lady. That's all I'm going to say on the subject. Anyway, I've decided that on reflection I'm going to put a roof light in, and so I'll take you through the process the best as I can. It's a heki, I think it's pronounced heki, Mark II roof light. I'm going to put it in the centre here. I'll swing the camera up and around in this space above here. I'll tint the windows, as you can see, a reflection of me in the window, which is fantastic. It makes the van a little bit dark in places. I haven't done the side behind me. I'll have to take this window out because I have a leak in the corner, which I know why, but that's irrelevant, but I've got to do that this week. But what I decided is to chop the roof and put a great big roof light in here, which is a clear one, and also I can also then lie in bed and look out and see the stars. And also there's another thing as well. I can put a small tripod on the roof and do slow-mo and pausing type videos, etc, etc, time-lapse. Can't get my teeth in this morning. Anyway, so let's look at the ceiling, which is utterly boring. So there goes my lights and stuff. So that's what I'm doing. So I'll take it up onto the roof now. Cheers. Bit windy up here. Evidently I'm going to go lengthways across. I was going to put it in the centre. Sorry about the wind, but it's not going to fit so close with the solar panel, and this front edge is slopes down here. So I have a slope there, and that's going to be impacting on that. So what I'm going to do is tape here, come in from this amount of level here, draw a straight line. I'm going to go across the other side now and mark out that side, then go straight across, and then pin the holes and radius. I'll show you those in a minute. Cheers. Bit dodgy up here, so this is so it doesn't matter, but I've measured from this edge here by my thumb to there, and I've took 6 inches from there in, so it should open nicely. And this is the width here, across to there, to the other side, and I've measured across where the other tape is. That's 960. So I've just got to put the tape across from there to there, which involves a bit of jiggery pokery on my part, and mark it up, and then put the radiuses in, and I'll come back to you. Cheers. Right, it's the old saying: double check, triple check, quadruple check. I'm standing on the roof. I've measured out with some 2-inch masking tape. I've put the radiuses in from a piece of cardboard template. I've checked the width, and it's about right. The length from this side to this side is a little bit long, so I'll cut this side of the line. I won't cut the other side of the line, so that'll bring it in a bit. It's about 3 to 4 mil. But there you go. So what I'm going to do now is drill holes that will go straight through, and which will give me the radiuses underneath, because I'm going to cut the board out with a Stanley blade underneath, because I'm not sure if there's any wires, and I can't take the roof out because it's underneath the cupboards. So I'm going to try a Stanley blade and cut it. Anyway, we'll see, but I'm drilling the holes first because it's definitely going to come out. So, and I'll show you that soon. Cheers. Right, heavily drill the holes on the inside of the line, not the outside of the line, and that should be the cutout. Okay, it's not raining, it's not ever, but what I'm going to do now is just put a bit of tape over the top of these lines, and that's it, and then I'll go down and do the rest inside. Cheers. Right, I've drilled through the holes up above, and you can see they're slightly off centre, the holes, you know, etc. So I've done the template underneath again, roughly copied the hole, because, as you say, the garnish, sorry I'm moving the camera, the garnish is there, and if that fits in the hole, then that's fine. There's not a lot of room here, but as you say, I have got most things sorted now. So all I'm going to do is cut this board out of the ceiling. The reason being is the depth from the roof to there, I think, is longer or deeper, sorry, than my jigsaw. So, and also cutting it out, I'm not too sure, as I've said, whether there's any wires or anything under there or any supports. So I think if I cut round it gently what I can, by hand or whatever, and I'll come back to you when I've got it done, hopefully. Cheers folks. Right, there you go, that's the inner hole cut. Matches up pretty well. I've always checked and rechecked, but I've now noticed I've got 2 ribs in the roof, which is a bit of a nuisance, but at least I know that they are just ribs, there's no electric anywhere. So that was a bit of a problem, but I managed to get that done. What I need to do now is, you can see where the holes are, that's the circles, that's the radiuses up above. So if I have a dry day tomorrow, I will cut that out and drop the thing in, and I need to get some timber now. Check the ribs which are there, and try and get some wood cut and planed and put in, because it needs to be, when you put the actual heki, the window in, sorry, the window light, you have to have, it has to have everything screwed to something. It won't screw straight to the ceiling, so you're going to put a wood rib round, and then it'll sort of go into that. I'll show you more when I do that anyway, so I'll have to pick that up tomorrow because it is Sunday. So that's the hole cut. There you go. It did actually come out with a jigsaw, which is quite easy. A bit dusty in my eyes, but that's good. Anyway, on to the next. Cheers. Well, we seem to have crappy weather. I woke up this morning and Monday morning, and it was snowing. I've managed to go to Jersey to pick up a bit of timber up. Evidently the timber is slightly oversized, and so what I'm doing is just running around for 30mm, knocking a few mils off, but I'm doing it in the spare room, and as you can see, yeah, okay, whatever, but just doing a little few bits and pieces for it. So I'm just going to knock this one down. As you can see, draw a line round, quite easy, finger, thumb and a pencil, and just took a rough guide. So it's not going to be rocket science. It's got to be at least just under 30mm or whatever. I'll bring you through the rest of the process as I go along, but I'll just do this last one. I won't put the plane on while I'm doing it, but I'm just showing you how I'm doing it. You know, needs must at the end of the day. Anyway, thanks all, and it's still raining now. Anyway, cheers. Morning all. Tuesday morning, and everything's rather wet and damp. Snowed yesterday, and you should also never stand on top of a ladder like what I'm doing, but since I'm a big boy and I'm going to kill myself once, there you go. Right, it's come to the final conclusion today of cutting a hole in this, and as you can see, I've got my jigsaw, got my power. I'm using the inverter in the van, which is running this, no problem. So there you go. So at the moment, there were some leaks inside because of these. It's only paper, so as long as this paper holds true, I've rechecked and double checked the line, and this is a hole I've got to cut out. So I'm going to try and see if I can get this cut out, cleaned off and dried, and the window dropped in. At least then I know where to stand. I've got a curvature on the roof, as I don't know if you can see, and I've got the timber cut ready, and so I'm hopeful I can get a little bit of that out with a bit of scribing of the timber and stuff, but I'll show you that process. Cheers. And the other thing is, don't be shy, because at the end of the day the hole's got to be cut out. You can always cut it smaller, you can't cut it bigger. So there you go. So I can't run the jigsaw and operate the camera at the same time. It's very damp and wet up here, and balancing on the top of the step at my age is not the best thing to do. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Cheers. Evidently you just put a bit of, I've just got a bit of timber here in the corner so it doesn't actually drop through or doesn't splinter off or break off, just to hold it. So all it is now is take those out, and then what I've got to do is I've got to cut the supports so the timber goes in, so I can do that as well. So that's the hole cut out. Okay, it's quite a big hole, and as long as I can get it dry today, which it should be okay. That's what I'm fighting against now, is just a bit of the cold and whatever, but it's done now. So as far as I'm concerned, is just get the window, not the window, anyway, the roof venting. Anyway, cheers, catch you in a bit. Right, as you can see, it's just a question of cutting those and cutting up and cutting those little noggins out so I can put the timber in, do both sides. Excuse me. And then I'll try and scribe the timber in so it just takes a little bit of the fall out so I can get the roof vent in. Cheers. So that's the process, only because of the ribs are in there. I hadn't got no ribs in there, I wouldn't bother. But I think a one piece of wood across will be better. Anyway, cheers. Right, so as we can see what I'm doing is I've just planed that there, scribed that in a bit there, scribed that in a bit there. I might take a little bit more off there. I've just got to get another clamp to squeeze that down. I'll Sikaflex that in, and I'm going to drop a few screws on the top and countersink them and do the other side as well. And then I'll probably end up trimming the board down on this side here and planing that off. I haven't gone all the way this time because it's too much of an angle to take off, but I've measured that long enough so at least you can get all the clamps on this side and then all the clamps on the other side, and that's what I'm doing. So I hope if you can follow that. Okay, so I think it's just a question of just taking off, oops, where's my finger, a little bit more there, just to round that off a little bit more. Sikaflex, screwing. The reason I'm concerned about is the weather. That's the only thing. So I'm really trying to get a move on. Cheers. That's nice to see the sun out. Right. Now you might be able to see that because this is the curvature of the roof. So if you are going to fit one of these, just be aware of that. At the moment, I've only got the two rails in on the long edges, and as you can see here, there's a large gap here, and of course this should be flush where my finger is. But once I pull the two long pieces down, it should come, and then if I put the bracing underneath here and pull those up, that should come. Evidently you don't want to twist this too much, and then it's just a question of like whamming a load of silicone in there. Well, I've got some Sikaflex, and I've also got some beautiful sealer. Doesn't really matter how much the gap is as long as there's no water getting. So, and you can see the sun's coming out now, so what I'm going to do is put this down. There you can see it wobbles on that apex. I can't get it down anymore. I'm not concerned because, as I says, these are the mounting points there inside where you can pull down. So I'll get a small piece of timber in there, and then I'll pull those down gradually, and then just a question of going around. I'll lift the lid up then, and I'll just go around so I don't get nothing on the lid. Okay, but I shall glue this, and I shall start putting the clamps on the inside. Okay, and then just fill it full of silicone while it's still got a reasonable day. Cheers. Right, I hope you can see this now. I've glued around, as you can see. I've got to put the wood on here, but what I'm going to do is it's all fitting in, and when it's secure down, it'll crimp down. But I'm going to put these 5 in this and 5 in the other side. You put the screw in here, and you've got to do, this will be the centre one, and then just work on the outside and get that down, and then turn it around and do the other side. And then when it's pulled down, I should put the wood in here, in the end here, and pull that down, and then from the outside I shall gunk all the way around. That's the only way. Then hopefully that will keep in fairly square. Then when you put the garnish on, then it will hide this here, and it will fill that in, because that's, the garnish is quite tall. Well, hopefully that's the general idea anyway. Cheers. It's in the trouble when you get all this stuff on your hands, right? As you can see, that's a rather large joint. It's a beautiful joint, plenty of spring in it. Okay, it looks as though there's a gap round there, but there isn't. It's just the way the knife's been drawn round. So I've just got to finish the other side off, clean it inside, and then try and side the inside up. Oh, anyway, that's not too bad. It was a bit of a pain. I wouldn't recommend them for a talbot talisman. Only this is a big one. I think if you picked a smaller one, it might be a little bit easier, but it's because of the roll on the roof, to be honest. I didn't realise it when I bought it that it was such a roll. If you'd have put it long ways, you'd still have the same thing. In fact, it's even more of a problem, because if this was the other way, the shorter end would be over the bump, and it would be more of a problem. Anyway, it's in. I don't think it's going to leak. The garnish is going to be the next problem, because it is going to be a flipping plane to fit still. Anyway, carry on. Well, that's if I shine there you won't be able to see, but that's the outer done. I've just got to do the garnish, but what I'm doing is tidying up at the moment. As you can see, it's a fairly easy job. Nice if you have a flat roof and not too much of a curvature on it, but as you can see, the garnish will fit, but there will be a gap down this one end, there, type of thing, there. It'll come to the sides a little bit and hide those, but down there you'll see a little bit of a gap, so I'm going to have to sort that out, which shouldn't be much of a problem. Sorry about that, because I'm sitting down. There's an outer film on the outside to keep the roof clean, but I'll take off when I've really finished everything. So at the moment, as you can see, it is just a bomb site. Oh, long trousers. As you can see, everything everywhere. Bit more insulation, which I'll try and squeeze into a couple of places, which come out this centre section. So there you go. Peace and love all. So when I get the garnish in, I'll sort it. Cheers. Well, that's the garnish on. You've still got to put little vents on, which is in the little gaps in there. Hang on, I'll just come away from that here, light. There's little marks there, or there's some ventings to put in there. So I've just put some inch and three quarters all the way around. So again, that's better. So that's in. I've just had to adjust it slightly so the blinds to come out, because that's a blackout blind. That fits in okay, and that's the fly one. So just a question of adjusting these, evidently, because we're pulling up on this, so that don't look too bad. I'm happy with that. Oops. Okay, so bar the shouting and just a bit of a dust off, that'll do. There you go, folks. It's about 3 hours work, and also, sorry about that, this is the stuff I use, evidently. Oh god, Sikaflex, sorry, 512 for the general sticky sealing, and for just actually this is eBay Beauty Rub Soodle, and it is still flexible, very flexible. You're talking about nearly 10 quid a tube on each one of those, but at the end of the day, if you're going to make something up, the Beauty Rubber is very, very flexible. And then if you want to Sikaflex for general gluing round, I've still got to use a bit more of that because I've got a windbreaker to put on the front, but that's going to be another day tomorrow, I think, unless I get a chance this after. But there you go, lots of muck and stuff. I've got one side tidied, so there you go. That's one heki roof light number 2. It doesn't look too bad, might be a slight adjustment, and then I'm trying to think where I put the you get a bag of these to go around, so just fill in these there. I've just got to be pushed in, but I won't put them in yet because I'm just going to reset, make sure everything works alright, then I'll put these in. So they're just clipping all the way around like that as a vent. There you go, and as you say, happy days, roll on the weekend. Cheers. Well, there you go, I've put the vents all the way around. I think I've got some stuff on the yeah, the lens needs cleaning, because there you go, happy face. Yeah, anyway, put the little vents all the way around now. I'm reasonably happy with that. As you say, I'm just cleaning off and dusting off. These are the vents, so they're quite happy there. And then pull this out to darken it, and you've got a fly screening there, so that looks alright. I'm quite happy with that. Quite happy with that indeed. I've just got to take the top film off up on the top there. It's double glazed, and there you go. So I can look in bed now and look at the sky. That's all, folks. Catch you again soon. Cheers.